Yes, karibu sana. Mm.
Thank you so much for having me. I am very, very excited to be here. I know we have been planning this for a while now, but it's such an honor to be here, and I'm very, very excited, and I'm looking forward to the conversations and just the interactions. And I'm excited about today. So, to you, our audience, thank you for joining us as well. And like Jay has said, my name is Grace Nzula. I'm an HR consultant and trainer with Atara Solutions. And Atara Solutions is a HR consulting and training company. We offer training services, we offer HR manager outsourced services. We offer HR consultancy, and we also do recruitment and placement as well. We part of what we do in learning and development is also coaching. So if you're looking for a coach, then you can always reach out, and we'll be able to support you, especially on life or career related matters. So with that said, allow me to just jump onto the conversations for tonight. Jai, confirm how much time I have. You know, I'm paid to talk.
You have about 35 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sawa sawa. So Jay gave me an assignment on what to speak to you about today, and I am hoping that I can do justice to it. I will try and engage as we go. So, and I want you to probably on the chat just let me know what are some of the challenges you have experienced when it comes to personal development or professional growth. What are some of the challenges you've come across when it comes to professional development and personal growth? You can probably let me know on the chat, and Jairus, you can help in reading that out so that we can also get to know what is what's happening with our audience. So yes, let me know, guys, what are the challenges you've experienced when it comes to personal growth? What are the challenges you've experienced when it comes to personal growth? What are the challenges you've experienced when it comes to personal growth?
Jay says lack of commitment.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. What are
Mm.
the other challenges? Yeah.
Lack of
Uh-huh.
motivation by Calvin. Experienced mentors and coaching people. Imposter syndrome. Struggling with consistency. Yeah.
Mm. All right.
Not given a
Okay.
chance by my boys.
All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. So keep them coming. We are going to come back to that. And so, one of the things about personal development and personal growth that you really need to always remember um, is that you are at the center of it. You are the person who is driving that seat. You are the person who knows what you really want. So it is very, very important that you are in touch with yourself when it comes to your professional and personal growth. So, my first question to you, and I want you to just take up 30 seconds and just think about who are you? If somebody ever asked you to define who you are, what are some of the things you would say? Just take about 30 seconds and think about it. Whom am I? And if you brought your notes, this is the time to write something down. Who are you? You know? And who are you without your title if you're employed? Who are you without your title? And if you're a business person, who are you without that title? Who are you without the names you call yourselves? Who are you? Who are you? So, one of the things that you need to do when you're coming up with your strategy is understanding who you are. Now, before we just delve into who you are, allow us to just, I love this quote by Oprah Winfrey. She says, we can't become what we need to be by remaining what we are. So if you want to become the next version of you, you need to let go of the old version. And allow me to sound like cliche. What the good book says, that the old is gone, the new has come. That is not a quote by me. And Oprah goes ahead and says, we can't become what we need to be by remaining what we are. So again, we go back. For you to become what you want to become, you must first of all understand who you are now. Okay? So how do you win going forward? How do you win beyond what you're doing now? How do you win how do you achieve your dreams, and how do you grow beyond what your current situation? Okay? So on the question on who you are, I want you to answer these 4 questions. What are you really good at? What are you good at? Okay? You know, sometimes you want to say you want to become Grace Nzula, all right? You want to do what Grace does, but you find that you probably are struggling with it because maybe that is not one of your strengths, your strong points. Okay? You want to produce CVs the way Jay does, all right? But you cannot be Jairus. We can only have you as you and Jairus as Jairus. So have you identified 3-4 things that you're really good at?
Pesa iko ndio maana hatujahama. Pesa iko inatumika venye inafaa tu.
Ehe. Hiyo pesa yenye iko. What are you really good at? Was the question we were asking tonight. Okay? And then what are your blind spots? What are your weaknesses? We nowadays don't talk about weaknesses. What are your blind spots? What are the things that you are not very good at? Okay? There are things that I do that Jairus cannot do. There are things that Jairus does that I cannot do. Are you aware of what those things are? Okay? So as you come up with a strategy for your personal growth and your professional growth, are you really aware of what you are weak at and what you're very good at? Okay? And then one of the things that we really forget about is identifying our learning styles. You know, we can be here all day. We can be here talking and talking and talking. I mean, we are busy holding webinars. I hold mine on Tuesdays. Thursdays with Jay is there. But are you learning? You know, some of you want to learn through listening. Some of you want to learn through doing. Some of you want to learn through seeing. Some of you want to learn through both. All right, a combination. So what exactly is your learning style? How do you learn? Are you the kind that can only learn through experiences? And if you're that kind, I really feel sorry for you, because unless, if you're waiting for all your experiences for you to be able to grow, then my friend, you're in for a rude shock. In fact, my advice normally is, if you are a person to learn through experiences, please learn through other people's experiences as well. If you're a person who learns by reading, read as much as you can. If you're a person who learns by seeing or by visually, you know, visualize things and look at images, look at clips, you know. What is your learning style? Because your growth is totally dependent on the new things you can learn every day. What is this challenge you're giving yourself every other time? All right. And then define your values and aspirations. You know, sometimes you want to become, say, for example, you want to become the HR manager of you, or you want to become the CEO of your organization. Have you defined your values? Are you the kind of person who, for example, if your boss says, hey, I want to sleep with you so that you can get a promotion, you're like, okay, fine, you know? Or you're like, I am confused. I don't know whether to do it or not to do it. Because you have not defined your values. Right? So you need to define your values, and then you need to define your aspirations. What are you aspiring to become? What is this thing we are talking growth? What does it look like? You know, if you were to get what you're looking for today, what exactly would change? Are you looking at financial growth? Are you looking at positions growth? Are you looking at becoming, expanding horizontally? Are you looking at becoming, losing weight even? What are your aspirations? You know, What defines success for you? Is it owning a car? Is it owning a house? Is it owning, what exactly is the definition of your goal, of your success? All right. So what exactly do you want to grow into? Because that is very, very important. If you have clarity on these things, that is your number one strategy to managing your personal growth and your professional growth. But one of the problems or challenges that we encounter is the issue of mindset. My friends, mindset is such a determinant into who you become, all right? And we have fixed mindsets and growth mindset, all right? When you're on the fixed mindset, you are the person who is stuck in your past. You are so stuck in your past that the present doesn't count. And unfortunately, I witness this a lot, and especially when it comes to interviews. You are so stuck in your old job that you're not thinking about what this position means for you. You're so stuck in your past that you're not looking to improve. That anything that does not look like your past is not growth. That anything that doesn't traumatize you as much as you were traumatized before does not make sense. All right? So that is a fixed mindset. But when you're on a growth mindset, you live in the present. That your past is just a stepping stone. You enjoy the moments that you have presently. And you have a forward-looking mindset, okay? And then when you're on a fixed mindset, you have the fear of missing out. You want to be everywhere and anywhere, you know, because FOMO is real. You really, really cannot handle the fact that you're not present, okay? You cannot even delegate because you don't trust anyone to do the job better than you, because you think you're going to miss out on something and things are going to backfire on you. That is a fixed mindset, okay? Another fixed mindset is you think the rich are evil. You know, you think that the rich people are so mean, that they are so evil that, you know, the way we say, what we say, this thing that we normally say when it comes to rich people. No, Freemasons. What is that word we use? Jairus. Uko on mute. Ni Illuminati.
Illuminati, yeah.
Illuminati. And when you see people shining and you see people who have grown and are making it, your idea is that these people are evil. That is a fixed mindset, okay? And then when you're on a fixed mindset, you complain consistently. Yani you're just complaining about just everything, you know? Oh my God, my boss. Oh, my workplace. Oh, that guy, I'm using a matatu. Oh, my shoes. You complain about just everything and anything. That, my friend, is a fixed mindset. And then you never like to learn. You know, every time you're being pushed to learn, you start pushing back to stay in your comfort zones. Okay? And then you are afraid of investing. You do not want to invest in yourself. You know, yesterday I was talking to someone who was telling me, my God, Grace, what did I ever do? Why am I never like getting proper jobs out of the industry I work? And I was telling her, my friend, we are having all these activities that involve learning and networking. Why are you not part of it? The Employability Summit is 500 shillings, honestly. Even if, since Jairus started advertising for that thing, even if you are paying 100 bob, you'd be done by now. Okay? So, but you're only seeing that everything is expensive because you have seen some courses that are being charged 75,000 and your salary is 30,000. But instead of looking for opportunities to learn, and nowadays learning does not need you to even go there. All you need is probably have bundles and you can learn. All you need to also is interact. There are opportunities of learning everywhere. Okay? And then you are afraid of investing in yourself. Okay? You do not want to invest in yourself. You don't want to invest in anything to support in your growth. Now, how will you grow if you're not investing in yourself? Okay? So this fear of spending, this fear of getting out. Oh, I am introverted. I cannot attend an invite. People are attending those events and they are meeting their destiny connectors while you are sitting with Netflix and chill. Okay? And then there's fear of change. You're so comfortable. You know, there's the idea of wanting to change, or rather, everybody, if I asked here right now, and you can tell me, by the way, let's try this. Tell me on the chat, how many of us want to grow? How many of us want to grow? You can type YY on the chat. How many of us want to grow? Type YY on the chat. Do you want to grow? Do you want to grow? Do you want to? Yes, the whys are coming. The whys are coming. Do you want to grow? Everybody wants to grow. But you are so afraid of change. My friend, if you want to grow, growth and change ni hapa kwa hapa. They are together. Unajua the way you say you look together. Growth and change walk hand in hand. You have to be willing to change. You cannot be afraid of change. My good friend, if that was, there's somebody who says that their boss does not allow them to opportunities to grow. Change. You are not a tree, they say. Change. You know, stop being afraid of change. Apply for jobs that will give you opportunities to grow. Get out of your comfort zones. Okay? So that is a fixed mindset. Now, a growth mindset, you learn from mistakes. You're not stuck from, you cannot delegate. You're not willing to get out of what you're used to. Your work is to just avoid mistakes as much as you possibly can. My friend, nothing grows there. You got to make mistake. You got to learn from it. And then you jump on to the next and make sure that you do better. Okay? Even they say that a repeated mistake is the one that is the mistake. Otherwise, the first time mistake is not a mistake. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Allow yourself to try. You know, you may not get it right 100% always, but you need to progressively learn and then help others succeed. When you're on the growth mindset, the success is not just for you. When you're on a growth mindset, you actually grow with others. You know, I keep making fun of Jay, and I will tell you guys, because I have seen Jay grow. There are some photos he puts on his status, and sometimes I just laugh because some of them I can remember. And I have seen Jay transform. I have seen Jay start wearing suits and change from the round-necked t-shirts, not the one he's wearing now. And I'm telling you, you cannot grow alone. Imagine if I call Jay my friend and I'm the only one shining. It does not make sense. So you got to pull your friends together. And that is part of having a growth mindset. Then you don't listen, you don't complain, you know, you don't dwell on negativity, all right? And then you're constantly learning, you're choosing to learn. And I'm glad that you joined Jay's conversations every Thursday, because that's an opportunity to learn constantly. So always seek learning opportunities. Always learn from every day. Sometimes I just stand and look at vehicles driving because I'm trying to learn what is exactly is happening on these roads. You know, sometimes you just sit and notice vehicles. You go into a new parking lot and you can notice vehicles. Last week we were somewhere and we went to one's location and we found very nice high-end car. You know those ones. And then we moved to another place and the vehicles were slightly of not high-end, for lack of a better word. And we were just laughing because we were noticing, we were like, okay, first of all, you can tell the class here and the class on the other side. Whether it is faking it until you make it, whether it is a car on loan, but it sends a message. So that was like a random learning place that we're like, you know what, the standards here and the standards there might be different. Those are opportunities for learning. You don't have to actually attend the webinars to learn. You can even learn by yourself, like constantly. If you're looking out to learning, you'll always learn. And then when you're on a growth mindset, you quit bad habits. Those bad habits of negativity, those bad habits of saying that I don't know who did you wrong. You're still complaining about your maths teacher. By the way, last year I met the lady who told me that I'll amount to nothing in life. And for the first time I met her in over like probably 25 years. And when I saw her, I was like, I was so tempted to show her that I am something. And then I reminded myself that no, you don't need to, you know, you don't belong there. You need to move past this, you know. So you quit bad habits and you need to define what bad habits are to you. I know some people who have quit drinking because they think to them it is preventing them from growth. Okay, I know some people who have switched from wearing t-shirts to suits. All right, because when you knock some doors, their doors will not open for you because of how you have dressed up. And like it or not, that is the reality of life. Okay, and then on the growth mindset, you take action. Now this is very key. We can be talking here every day. You can be learning every day. But my good friends, unless you put things into action, all you're doing is talk, and talk is cheap. Take action. Take action. Come up when you have defined, I asked you, who are you? Have you answered those questions? And if you have not been able to answer, can you challenge yourself for the next 2 months? All you want to do is discover you. I want to discover Grace Nzula, and I'm constantly discovering who Grace Nzula is. I am constantly pushing myself out of comfort zones so that I can learn who I am. Sometimes all you need is to test your resilience. Sometimes you find yourself in situations that make you or force you to take action, and that action becomes a learning point. So you need to actually constantly take action. All right? Now, one of the things that prevents us from taking action is 3 things. Fear. Okay? Fear. You are so afraid of what can become, And fear is, what do they call it? Fear is what? False, blah, 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 appearing real. False evidence appearing real. That is how they have abbreviated fear as. You're so afraid of yourself. You're so afraid of your next challenge. You're so afraid of tomorrow. You're so afraid of what can happen next. You start overthinking things, and that fear holds you back. That fear holds you back. And you need to identify and unpack this fear. You need to unpack, what is this that you're afraid of? And not just thinking that I am not getting that. It is just thinking, what exactly? Sometimes fear comes in the form of, oh my God, I need to pay my bills. So you're not willing to clean up your CV and look for your next job because you need to pay bills. That's fear. But sometimes you'll just say, I am afraid of my next employer. All right? You cannot live in fear. You have to live in faith. The opposite of fear is faith. So you need to deal with whatever it is that you're afraid of so that you're able to actually move past the fear. And that means that you need to let go of the fear and embrace faith. Okay? The other thing that prevents us from achieving our goals or taking actions is our ego. I am Grace Nzula. I am the best there can ever be. Who else can be better than me? That kind of attitude. That means that you are not able to learn because you think you're it. The show stops with you. But you have to learn. Every day you have to learn. One of the things I promised myself is I will be attending events so that I can become a better moderator, because I really wanted to become a moderator. And one of the things that I did is even invest, take a flight and go and learn and sit around and see, how do they do it? How do the other people do? Because you have to learn and become more. But if I'm stuck here and saying I'm the best moderator there will ever be, I'm the best HR there will ever be, you will meet others who are better than you. And you need to take that as a challenge and note, what are the things I need to work on to become this better? Okay? And then the other thing that prevents us from growth is shame. Shame, shame, shame. What if I go and it doesn't work? Fear. And then what will my people say? Some of you are stuck in relationships that are sucking the living systems out of you, that you cannot be able to develop yourself. And it is because you're ashamed that the people in the community, you went and did a church wedding, you went and did I don't know what, and you're carrying shame with you. Some of you are carrying shame because people laughed at you in school. So you are so afraid because you do not want to relieve that. And that is okay. But my challenge to you is identify the fear, identify the ego, identify the shame, and then do something about it. One of the things that I keep saying is challenging you to heal. Heal from that trauma that brings you fear. Heal from that trauma that brings you shame. Heal from that trauma that makes you an egoistic person. Now, when you are afraid, when you have ego, when you have shame, what we see on the outside is you keep blaming others. Oh, you're blaming your friends. You're blaming your parents. You're blaming your spouse. You're blaming your siblings. You're blaming everybody else and except you. You know? So because you're afraid, instead of dealing with your fear, you start blaming people. Oh, it is Jairus' CV that did not get me that job. And maybe you went to that interview and it did not do a good job. Some of you are coming to interviews without revising the interview. And you keep asking, is that mine? All right. The other thing that we see is excuses. Now, blame is to people, excuses are to situations. Or you have 1,000,001 excuses on why you cannot do things. You're not challenging yourself because excuses are there. Be as it may, they may make sense to you, but they are not real. You know? When you start talking about excuses, you come to coaching and some of the things we start unpacking is when you come up with the excuse, what exactly is the main cause around it? Is it shame? Is it fear? What exactly is it that is not coming out? Okay? It's showing up as excuses. My favorite excuse, I make excuses about not working out. I am totally guilty of that. And for me, mine is totally laziness. All right? And my excuse is that Nairobi is raining right now. But I'm very aware that I am so lazy to wake up in the morning that I'm not working out, but I'm working on it. That is my challenge, to get out of my comfort zone. What is yours? The other thing that we see on the outside is complaining. Oh my God, there are people who will complain about the color of my shirt. They are now complaining about my hair. Instead of listening, they are people who we call chief complainants. My good friends, when you you blame others, when you start making excuses, when you're always complaining, guess what you become? A victim. Oh, mimi ndio naonewangwa. Oh, that guy does not like me. In fact, no one likes you. You're the victim. Oh, that matatu. Oh, that, I don't know. Yani, you're such a victim of everything. Right? My good friends, you need to deal with these things, because when you start blaming others, it means that you're not able to take responsibility. When you're always complaining, when you're making excuses, when you start sounding like a victim, then my good friends, you are not able to grow, because those things will always hold you back. All right? So you need to, if you need to seek therapy, please seek therapy. Deal with the trauma that caused you fear. Deal with the trauma that brings about shame. All right? Now, one of the things that you need to invest in you, number one, is time. If you're positioning for growth, you need to invest time. It is a very time-consuming affair for you to grow. You know, sometimes I've seen people who pull back. They pull back, they disappear for like 3 months. They disappear because they are working on themselves. And I find that very inspiring, because you are intentional about it. So how much time do you have to invest in personal development? I'm sure in this forum, you've heard somebody talk about the 24 hours a day. You actually have about 6 hours that you cannot account for in your day. That is enough time to enroll in a course. That is enough time to get into something that will grow you. There is enough session to invest 1 hour into coaching or a mentorship program. You actually have 4 to 6 hours that you cannot account for. Please manage your time and be mean with your time. Be selfish with your time. Invest your time in things that will grow you. Invest your time in things that make sense to you. And then find solutions. Find solutions. Be solutions oriented. Okay, fine. You're not able to afford the 10,000 event. Okay, fine. So what next? All right, I can go to employability skills because I am looking for Grace Nzula, and Grace Nzula will be at the employability skills. Show up. All right. And then leadership. In fact, one of the assignments I'm giving you is go and learn more about self-leadership. Okay. And then this quote, when a goal is not defined, anything is a result. My good friend, whatever you want to achieve, you have to write it down. You have to define your goals, because if you do not define them, then whatever you get will be a result. So if you cannot just say that I want a better job, you cannot just say that I want to become a better version of myself. I want to become a better mother. I want to become a better spouse. I want to become a better girlfriend. I want to become a better. But what exactly is this better you're talking about? How can you measure that better? Okay. So if you're just living life without intention, you're just going about without knowing what you want, then any result you get is a result. And you'll start celebrating things. And then when you meet other people, you're wondering, what have they given God? Because they seem to be earning favor beyond you. Okay? The other thing that you need to do is step out of your comfort zones. I think I've talked about that. And then the other advice I would give is embrace failure as an opportunity. Will you fail as you do this? Yes. Failure might come. Success is not guaranteed. But will you be stuck in failure? No. You embrace failure, you learn from it, you jump up, you dust off, and you move on. And then be patient. Be patient with yourself. Progress over perfection. You don't have to get it right today. But if you can get it right every step of the way, if you can focus on the process and the progress more than the results, then my good friend, you are able to be consistent. You're able to pick yourself up even when things are not going well. And then be persistent. Keep pushing. Keep pushing, right? Keep going for what you want. Okay? You one of the things that you need to know is define your now. Where are you now? And then where do you want to go? And then be patient with in between as you take small calculated steps. And then be persistent. Keep pushing. All right? And then invest in your circle of excellence. My circle of excellence involves a coach, a mentor. I'm in business, so I need a banker, I need a lawyer. But you in your career, you need a sponsor. You need somebody who will mention your names in rooms you're not. You need a mentor, somebody you can just make a phone call to, who can actually give you ideas on what to do about a situation. And you need a coach who will actually have a conversation on you getting the best potential out of you, unlocking your potential. So you need to come up with the circle of excellence and then make contact with them. You know, make contact with your circle of excellence. Don't just say Grace is my mentor. Fine, I can be mentoring you, but have you made contact? Be intentional about the people you follow. We have so many followings we do on LinkedIn, for example. Are you intentional about the people you follow? Or are you just following the people because they said LinkedIn can get you jobs? You know, if you're looking for jobs in the NGO world, are you following people in that sector? If you're looking for jobs in manufacturing, are you looking for people in that sector? Are you connecting with them? If you want to become the next HR manager, are you connecting with HR managers in the industry you want to join? That is your circle of excellence, and it has to be intentional. Then work-life integration. Remember, you only have one life to live. Do not forget to enjoy it while you can. All right. So while you're focused, while you want to do these things, and that's what I was saying, sometimes you want to pull back from some things because you're pursuing your degree, you're pursuing your CHRP, you're pursuing your master's. But in between, save an hour to enjoy life because you need it. Okay. And then accountability. Be accountable to yourself and find somebody to keep you accountable. Find somebody who reminds you, hey, you decided you're going to become a certified secretary in January. Where are you now? That is accountability. You wanted to become Jay's favorite, I don't know what. Where are you now? Have somebody who can remind you those things. And finally, you need to reflect. Constantly reflect. What have I achieved so far? What are the challenges I'm experiencing? Is this goal still valid? Does it require more time? Is the situation I'm in, can I pause this one and deal with this one first? Reflect, reflect, reflect. All right? And my good friends, just to sum it up, what I'm saying is you need to have clarity. Clarity on who you are, clarity on your goals, clarity on your circle of excellence, clarity on the steps you want to take to achieve your personal and professional growth. And then you have to be consistent. Consistency, consistency, consistency. And this is part of where you get to enjoy the progress. Again, perfection is an illusion, progress over perfection. And then stay committed. I saw a lot of you saying that one of the challenges you've been experiencing is commitment. And I say what? Commitment is actually a choice. You choose to commit and you become disciplined, not motivated. You have motivation, yes, but most importantly, have discipline, because discipline is doing it whether you feel like it or not. So clarity, consistency, and commitment. Back to where we started in conclusion. We can't become what we need to be by remaining what we are. We can't become what we want to be by remaining what we are. Back to you, Jairus.
Wow, that was amazing, so insightful, and I think I've been able to learn so much. And I can see you're a good timekeeper. I told you 35 minutes, and you've just done exactly 35 minutes. And so for me, I think after this session, I'll as well just evaluate myself and look at the goals that I've been setting. And one of the goals that I've been setting over the past 2 years is going to the gym, working out. And I buy the gear, and then in a year it can't fit again. I have to buy another one, but I still don't go. I think I'm going to be so intentional in doing this, and as I reflect, because one of the things is that the sessions that we always have are sessions where we learn. And as much as I'm Jay, it is I don't know everything else. So I also learn from the speakers that we bring on board. And today, Grace will be my accountability partner. We all need to go to the gym now. So welcoming any questions based on the presentation that you've had. Any questions on the chat section, or if you feel that you want to unmute and just ask a question, feel free. This is your time now to ask those questions.
There's a question on the chat, Jay.
No. There's no question. We
Yes,
have
there is.
Nice presentation. Where now? Nice presentation.
Can I just read it out?
Yes.
Yeah, this Wabwire is asking, for multi-talented people, how does one ensure they grow? Because sometimes you find your mind wandering. Now, that's a very, very good question. And I'm glad that one of the things that you have is awareness. Now, we have what we call your profile or your personality. And one of the things you need to know is how to manage your personality. If you're multi-talented, and I keep saying, because I'm one of them, and I learned to not apologize for having many talents. Number one is accepting that you have many talents. Number two is making sure that your best partner is a journal. And then number three is partner with people who are opposite, people who are executors. Because most talented, multi-talented people, you'll touch this and leave. You want to touch that and leave. You want to touch that and leave. Now, I happen to have multi-talent, and then I am also a different personality. So I combine the two. So for you, need to understand, where am I now? Am I an innovator? Now, when you are an innovator, you pair yourself up with somebody who is an executor. So when you pair yourself up with somebody who is an executor, it becomes easy to keep achieving the goals because you can create, you can come up with ideas, you can come up with strategies. However, you get somebody who can partner with you who is an executor so that you can both now start complementing each other, because the executor, you'll find, is also not very creative. For them, you give them ideas, they run with it and they're excellent. Then they finish and they wonder what next. But then if you paired with the person with a different talent, then it becomes easy to execute. Now, multi-talented, you also need to have a journal. Have a journal that has, the way you have like a file with different colors. So you have a journal for this talent, you have the next pages, the next color for the other talent. You can get this customized, by the way. That helps you track the things that you're doing and trying to go back to it and just confirm where you are. It helps you self-manage so that you're not losing sight of important things. Okay, so you need to make sure that you get that journal so that you always have those dividers and things that are reminding you that this is what you committed to do and this is where you are at. And most importantly, when it starts to get boring, then you need to pair up with somebody who will find some excitement around it, right? So that you can be able to see that through. I hope I've tackled that question.
Yes, very well. Helen says, thank you so much, Grace. This is the first time listening to you, and yes, it is a challenge. I need to pick myself up for personal development. Peter says that I have a question. I'm a recent graduate and I've been looking for a mentor. How does one get a mentor?
How does one get a mentor? Now, we have different types of mentors. We have mentors who will mentor you without having a structure. So in your area, whatever you graduated with, you need to find people in that area and find ways to interact. So number one is join WhatsApp groups of people in your industry. Okay, and start contributing to conversations or just asking questions and let people have conversations. Okay, the other thing you can do is also join the same groups in like LinkedIn on all your social media. Number two is also attend events and get to meet people. Get to meet people, interact with them, and then eventually you can settle on a mentor. Now, that might be an unstructured way. When it is structured, you can actually look for specified mentors in your industry. There are people who are there, and if they're charging, you can invest in whatever it is that they are paying. But unfortunately, we confuse mentors, because one of the things I've realized is people look for you and for you to mentor them when they are out of a job or when they're just looking for a job. Mentorship does not mean that I will only mentor you to get a job. I could mentor you to get a job, yes, but mentorship has to be defined. Why do you want a mentor? And if you want a mentor to get you a job, you need to make sure that you have a mentor-mentee relationship and somebody who is able to identify your strengths and be able to probably place you. Okay? So you can have mentorship that is structured and unstructured. And then if you have structured, then you can define the timelines of meeting. When do you have your sessions? And what are the units? What are you looking to achieve? And then how long will it take? And all those things. So a mentor, you decide, are you looking for a mentor in your industry? Then yes, you pick who is mentoring in your industry. Start following them. Connect with them on LinkedIn. Join WhatsApp groups in your areas of expertise and start following the trendsetters there. And then sometimes even approach them. Okay. And then, yeah.
Thank you so much for that. What is the best way to beat procrastination when building your personal brand? I find it this frustrating when I get negative results from job applications.
So you need to, one of the things that I talked about is being patient and being persistent. Sometimes you will not get what you're looking for instantly. It takes time. Okay, so you have to be patient with yourself, and then you have to trust the process. You need to constantly remind yourself that something is coming, something is coming, something is coming. Now, on personal brand, do you mean in how you express yourself or how you show up? If you can clarify that so that I can give you the right answer. When you talk about personal brand, is it during interviews? Is it how you're applying for jobs? What exactly is it that you mean when it comes to personal brand? Maybe you can just clarify so that I can answer that.
Calvin, you can maybe unmute and ask, or even though for me I feel that it's talking about maybe applying for jobs and not getting feedback. But Calvin, you can unmute and ask, or even just have it in your chat section. In the chat section, job interviews. He's talking about job interviews.
Okay, but he's asking about procrastination. Procrastination is a battle you have to win in your mind. You remember the mindset we talked about? That is the part. You need to embrace the growth mindset, so that when you fail, you don't use failure as the only mirror to your success. You use it as a stepping stone. So even if they have given you negative feedback today, what exactly can you learn from that experience? Is it during interview? Do you think there's something you did during interviews that did not make sense? Or do you think that you're just not aligned? What are some of the lessons you can pick from that experience? If you're not being called for interviews, have you connected with the mentor, somebody like Jairus, who will look at your CV and tell you, dude, this one and this job you're applying for are not aligned. Can we align them? Okay. So first of all, you need to win the battle in your mind, especially the area of procrastination. That is a battle you win in your mind. You have to pick yourself up and force yourself to apply for that job, even if you're getting discouraged. You have to have faith that something good is coming. But in the meantime, what else can you do with your time? What else can you do with your talent? What else can you do with the resources that you have? And the resources, I don't mean just financially, even time. What else can you do with your time that can help you build up into becoming a better version, or rather job ready, so that the next time, if you think that you get anxious during interviews, are you listening to YouTube conversations around anxiety and managing anxiety? And are you taking action about the lessons that you're learning? So procrastination is a battle that you win in the mind. It's a mindset matter. Once you win in the mind, like myself and Jairus and going to the gym, ours is a mindset that we need to overcome. So your mindset is instead of giving up and wanting to not apply. And please remember, be patient. Rome was not built in a day. And then be persistent. Keep applying, keep applying, keep applying. But make sure that you're also picking lessons. Jairus.
Thank you so much, Grace. What's your take on narrowing your niche to professional development and in the long run?
Your niche, yes, in the long run, not if you're starting out. If you've gone to, for example, HR director level, you can narrow down to the niche that you wish. If you are maybe have had experience working in consultancy and maybe recruitment is your thing, it is okay to narrow down, but just be careful so that you don't lock yourself out of opportunities as you look at specialization. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. The other question is, my quiz is, as a HR practitioner, how can one improve in areas you feel gray? Personally, I struggle with talent acquisition.
Well, you can choose to learn more about it. If it drains you fully, you can partner with somebody who will help you do that, and then you do other things. But sometimes one of the things that I keep saying, when you're growing, you do what you have to do for now. You do what you have to do for now, but do not forget to invest in what you want to become in future. So if your job right now requires that you do talent acquisition, do it. Do it to the best of your ability. Then do not forget that that is not something you want to do. So what else do you want to major in, like, for example, wellness? And if you want to major in wellness, as you do talent acquisition, have you gone back to school for mental wellness to become a mental health champion or a psychologist? Have you gone back to school for, I don't know what they do in wellness facilities, you know? So you look at, you do what you have to do for now as you invest in what you want to let go in future. And I tell you what, once you become so good at what you do, people will look for you and you'll never have to do the things you don't enjoy anymore. But when you're starting out, please do it. As you discover you don't like it, make sure you invest so that you can become so good at the other things. And make sure that when you hire somebody to be under you, or you're bringing in your next admin or your HR assistant, make sure that the person you bring can actually enjoy doing that so that you can complement one another. Jairus.
Thank you so much. Elizabeth, you asked about if this recording will be shared. We'll have it on our YouTube channel. Nick asked, my question is about challenge in misalignment between personal goals and professional goals. How should he address that challenge?
Misalignment between personal and professional growth.
Professional goals, personal and professional goals.
We need to have a coaching session. Because we need to unpack, when you talk about misalignment, you actually need to find a balance between your personal goals and your professional goals. Because then you will always have burnout. Because if they're worlds apart, it means that you start struggling on where they can converge. So at some point, you'll have to find a point of convergence. So if you want, for example, Nick here, you want to become a politician, and currently you are a HR professional. You need to decide, when is it political side, when do you want it to happen? You know, if it's in the next 5 years, then focus on becoming a proper HR, you know, support what you want to do now, and then in future, you can now start focusing on that side of things. But if you want to just, your personal goals and your professional goals are not aligned, you actually need to find a point of convergence so that you don't burn out, and then you'll end up giving up.
Thank you so much, Grace, for that. I think we don't have any other question in the chat section. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you so much for taking time to be with us tonight. And as you prepare your parting shot, maybe Skylar, you can I can give you 2 minutes to give us some good news before Grace finalizes.
Absolutely.
Skylar, even as you talk, make sure that you make an emphasis. We have Helen is asking that we talk about the Employability Summit because it's something that she has no idea about.
Okay, so Grace, wow, that was an absolutely wonderful session. I can tell by our audience, you know, your comments, you know, Grace really has a way with words. You can literally hang on her every word, and for sure I can tell she's free to talk. And so we really, really appreciate your time. And so I have shared a link to the form for the Employability Summit, as well as a poster. And so actually our Employability Summit is really, really close to my heart. I always say anytime I talk about it. So it's happening on the 14th. That's this coming Saturday. And it will be a whole day event. It'll be from 10 to 5. And we have panels for you. We have speakers, we have workshops, and it's going to be, the point is in terms of all things career. And I feel like that's why this webinar tonight was so intentional, and being able to look inwards and to where you're at in your growth professionally and also personally, where are you at, doing that self-assessment and where you want to be. And also there's something that has been highlighted by Grace throughout the whole session, you know, investing in yourself. So this event, I would say, is a really big investment, and we're only charging 500 shillings. It's just the investment, you know, we're asking you to make. And so what it is, basically, the conversations on how you can thrive in the job market, conversations on the emerging trends, and how things like AI and the digital economy and things like climate sustainability, you know, the green economy, and how they are disrupting the place of work, and how do we need to change, how do we need to upskill, how how are we going to be able to take it on to remain relevant as well? These are the conversations that are going to be there, as well as how to better brand yourself, as well as applying for these jobs, and very, very, very many other conversations that we're going to be having that day. It's going to be a really great day, whether you are a job seeker, whether you want to transition into a different career. I've seen somebody mention that in the chat, or whether you could be a fresh graduate as well. You could be somewhere along the lines of your career as well, and you're looking for, maybe you don't really have that clear path, and is what we've been talking about tonight, and the consistency and being committed, and as well as being clear on that what's your goal in the long run. So these are the conversations we'll be having, and we'd be so excited to have you all. I've attached a link. Somebody's asking if it will encourage business entrepreneurs. It's not exactly entrepreneurially based, but I would say, Ade, you're welcome to join and hear what we have. I think, topics on like personal branding, and we will be having somebody on branding and marketing as well, just knowing how to better position your business. We also will be having a career coach on that day. So I feel like it's still all inclusive, and we do open the day to everybody who's open and willing to come and invest and take control of your career. I would say that is our major thing for that day, taking control. Sometimes you may feel like things are not going as planned. So my call to action for all of you is take control of your career by making this small step in a long journey of steps that you're going to take in that plan that you're having. I can see also Jaya shared, that's our first panel. We are yet to reveal our second panel, but we do have key speakers. Jay Walemba will be talking himself. Grace has mentioned she will be our moderator that day. We do have Ambassador May Ben as our keynote. We also do have Miss Mudhoni and the LinkedIn Lioness. And so I would say to everybody in the chat, if you are able and if you can, it's a Saturday, 10 to 5 p.m., only 500 shillings. If you can avail yourself, why not? I think back to you, Jay.
Thank you so much, Skylar, for that. I think something that you've not mentioned is that Grace Nzula herself will be on site as well. Did you mention that?
I did.
So thank you so much, Skylar, for that. Grace, now you can give us your final comments about the topic we've had this evening as we close.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I think I have two parting shots. One is what you're doing today is a practice for who you will be tomorrow. What you're doing today is practice for who you will be tomorrow. So you need to be very intentional about what you're doing today, because that will determine your tomorrow. Again, my last reminder is clarity, commitment, consistency. Clarity, consistency, commitment. And we can become what we need to be. We cannot become what we need to be by remaining what we are. So I challenge you to take action. I challenge you to be intentional. And I challenge you to be patient and persistent, because you'll get it. Thank you very much for having me. I have had fun. And I know it's a pre-holiday. It's a Friday. So... So I wish you guys a lovely weekend. Those who are coming for the dinner tomorrow, see you there.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.